Morning, everybody. 8:17 a.m. It is April 7th. Welcome to my channel. Now, yesterday was, I think, the lowest volume in the S&P 500 for an over a year. Now, that could either be spring break, that could either be people not wanting to commit money to this market because crude is up to $115 a barrel right now. And I think there's some news coming out as I'm speaking because we just broke basically kind of like a balance low in a demand zone. And now we're kind of having a wild candle right now. I know ADP just came out at 8:15, and I'm not sure if some news just dropped. Let me see here. So something did happen at 8 a.m. Let's look at it together real quick. Trump on Iran. A whole civilization, Jesus. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will on Truth Social. Trump on Iran. Maybe something revolutionary, wonderful can happen. Who knows? A wonderful thing can happen with the new regime. The U.S. struck targets on Karg Island that were hit previously. And then we have U.S. ADP weekly employment change. So I guess that's what moved the markets a little down on those comments. You just never know. Now, what's happening right now is there a decoupling from oil and the market? Because oil right now is up 2.43%. Okay? So I don't know. But right now you have to note that they decoupled last Thursday and we were going crazy at when it was $90 a barrel, the market. Well, now the market has since recovered. So who knows? Who really knows? There's not a lot of data today that's going to come out. I mean, Fed Goolsby speaks at 12:35 p.m. You have API crude at 4:30 p.m. after the market closes. Um, the deadline, I think, is somewhere tonight p.m. sometime. Who knows if it's a Taco Tuesday with Trump, if he chickens out. I don't know, right? You don't come here for me to get my political or geopolitical views because I don't know, right? We just follow price. All right, so with that being said, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use market profile and bond profile to find structure in the markets, along supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. Now, once that market opens, I use my market internals. Okay, that lets me know who's leading off the open. Throw in a little anchor view off ICT Smart Money Concepts. Okay, come up with some game plans. All right, my weekly expected move I give for free for Thinkorswim on my Discord. Okay. Now, hopefully, you join me every day. Subscribe, set that alert. Give me the market news, the economic calendar, the leaders and the laggards. Basically, the market story. All right. And then followed by technical analysis. All right. And then I give you the most traded. I'm sorry. I give you the long and short trade scenarios in the ES and the Nasdaq futures. All right. Now, if you want to get more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay. Now, just a quick view of my Discord. All right. Let's go to it really quickly. All right. So every day, of course, my YouTube live stream channel, I give you the links to my feed that your guys are on right now. Okay. Every Monday morning, I run my script for Thinkorswim. So you can put this on your charts, gives a bunch of major tickers, and basically it's a huge edge. It lets you know the ranges that are expected for the week. And those ranges, 70% of the times, the market closes within those ranges. Okay, it's a big edge. All right. Now, after the stream is done, I automatically have my little AI agent give you the long and short trade scenarios in the ES and the Nasdaq futures. That comes out as well. All right. Now, once before the market, all right, I give my little call here. Neutral. What am I doing before the market? It's timestamp before the market. Okay, before the market. All right. And then I also give you my internals. This is timestamped at 10:26 yesterday. You could see the weighted AD, the ticks, the sectors, my bias, and what my read is. Markets are on ultimate balance. I said yesterday, watching a possible short, watching a possible short. Now, at the end of the day, you can see my pre-market scenarios, long and short, played out. I said this market is an ultimate balance expected, and I took a short for a 1R return. Okay, and then at the end of the week, you can see I've only been doing this 2 weeks. How many scenarios that I got right? Right? You could see my weekly performance. Right? Last week was like a little small, tiny red week. Okay, but still short. My scenarios were hitting. Right? And so far this week, yesterday, all of them hit. Now, when they hit, like I said, this is more for myself, also for everybody out there, just to give you confidence that I know what I'm talking about how to read the market, my scenarios, right? And they're not just long, short, like generic scenarios. They're like pullback here, this, that, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Wow, this market's probably getting more news and news and news. All right, let's just check in real quick. Let's just see. Maybe there was some. Oh, there we go. So it looks like JD Vance is talking. So you see, U.S. Vice President Vance on Iran. There are two pathways. Very shortly, this war will conclude. Okay, it says the military objectives of the Iran war have been completed. Completed. U.S. strikes more than 50 military targets on Karg Island. Wall Street Journal. And then Vance, we hope Iran is smart. VP Vance on Iran, I'm hopeful it will get to a good resolution. Well, let's just hope. All that means nothing. Okay, because Iran can come back and say something else. That cool. U.S. strikes. Okay, blah, blah, blah. All right. So, that all being said, let's just go right into the economic calendar, which is very light today. Oh, actually, let's go into futures. What am I doing? What am I doing? Losing my mind here. Good morning, Mark. All right. So, VIX is up 5%. Now, anybody's new, that's just the volatility index of the S&P 500. To give you some math there, a 16 VIX is a 1 expected move plus or minus. 32 VIX is 2% expected move plus or minus in the daily range. Okay? So the VIX is at 25. Crude is up 2.24%. It was just at $150 a barrel. Okay? So gas prices are going to continue to rise. Gold up 0.18. 10-year yields flat. Dollars flat. 30-year bonds are being sold slightly. The Dow is down 0.30. ES down 0.38. Russell down 0.53. Nasdaq's down 0.54. Silver down 0.54. Bitcoin's down 2%. Hovering around that 70K. Ethereum down 2.86. 97 plus. So, look at that. Broadcom up 3%. They have agreed to build chips for Google. That is why they're up. Okay? Big move for Broadcom. Up 3%. Google is up 1.17. Now, let's go to the 1%ers here. Who's down? Tesla down 1.23. Nvidia down 1.24. AMD down 1.44. And Coinbase, the Bitcoin proxy, down 1.60. Top sectors. Let's do it. United Healthcare. I saw this yesterday. I was like, whoa, boy, look at United Healthcare. But it's up even more today. Okay, that's because health insurers rise after U.S. lifts 2027 Medicare Advantage payment rates. That is why health insurance companies are getting some love today. Specifically, UNH, who's been destroyed. It's back into 300s. I still have my eye on that for a possible buy one day. Okay. Now, Chevron, Exxon up a little bit. Let's go to the half percenters. Or let's just go to here. Uber down 0.40. Caterpillar down 0.45. Home Depot down over a 0.5%. Qualcomm down over a 0.5%. Palantir just moved down. But Qualcomm down. Okay. Palantir almost down 1%. Oracle down 1%. All right. Sectors. Energy, the leader. The laggard is semis and technology. Okay. Now, economic calendar. Today, ADP employment change didn't really move markets, right? The markets just broke balance. We'll get into that in a second. All right. I already went over here. There's nothing really besides Fed Goolsby API crude after the market closes today. Let's go to Trump's schedule. Let's see what he's always talking. So let's see here. Tuesday, President participates in executive time, income time, part of policy meeting. No, so far a light schedule so far. Let's see the juice to see if there's anything else here. So 8 o'clock, Trump Iran deadline tentative. That's the deadline for today, 8 p.m. Okay. Now there is some new news. So from Pakistan, they are the intermediary. So it says a couple things here. Three things I'm going to mention here. Iran's missile strikes on Saudi targets risk derailing negotiations. Okay. Pakistani security official. Iran signals flexibility on talks but still pushes preconditions. Pakistan will stand with Saudi Arabia under a defense pact in the conflict if the conflict escalates. Okay? So a whole bunch of nothing. Okay? The main thing is crude is at 100 close to $115 a barrel and the market's not falling apart. Okay? Now, Brent is really like the international oil that is up even more than crude. Now, the crude I look at is West Texas Intermediate, which is we don't even use the oil. I think if you use 1% of the oil that this Strait of Hormuz goes through, it doesn't really affect us, but it affects a lot of other countries. I think specifically Korea, um, India, I believe Germany, Australia has no reserves. I was hearing, so it's kind of crazy globally. Not really for us, okay? Hence, but oil's up, right? All right. Let's look at if there's any other news that I don't know about. Let's see. Let's see what time this is at here, because I don't want to. This is 8:04. Yeah, this is nothing new. I didn't think there'd be anything new here. Let's go into some other stuff. Boba Ackman's Pershing Square proposes 64 billion merger deal with Universal Music Group. SpaceX lays out IPO details, targets early June roadshow. I just told you about the health insurers rise if the U.S. lifts 2027 Medicare Advantage payment rates. Apple's foldable iPhone faces engineering snags, potential shipment delays. Broadcom signs long-term deal to develop Google's custom AI chips. That's the big-time thing for Broadcom. All right, Wall Street futures were mooted, and oil prices hover near $110 a barrel. Well, they're over that now, as investors exercise caution ahead of President Donald Trump's deadline for Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz, while assessing reports suggest negotiations to end the war. Okay. See if there's anything else to note here. No. All right. Let's check on those credit spreads. Then we'll do some breath. Credit spreads, I believe, went down. Like I said yesterday, remember that's a big marker. They went down. They went down a little bit. Okay, so those are not in any fear. Let's go to max so I can show you recessions based on credit spreads widening. Yeah, when they move up, we go into recession. Okay, so we'll keep in mind, but they are not at high levels yet. That really tells you what you need to know. Okay, let's do a little bullish percent index here. Okay, of the S&P 500. All right, so you rose again yesterday. 43% on buy signals. 43%. Let's go to the NDX, which is your NASDAQ. 42% on buy signals. So they are strengthening up, right? You can see it. Let's do the info technology. Gee, this is what I'm saying. Okay? Look at those bars. I want to make sure everybody sees that. This is why I do this, okay? This thing right here was at a 20% on buy signals of the technology sector. This is at 50. This is where you see the nooks and the crannies. Okay? Remember, this was oversold. Now look back at 50% of technology sector on buy signals. Okay? Very, very important. What the hell did this happen? Okay, very, very important. Now, let's go to financials. Remember, financials, I said, ooh, I'm looking at something to do something there. Let's look at the financials. They bottomed out too here. So, just want to show you guys that. Okay? Money is starting to flow into there. Okay? Money is starting to flow in. Okay? Now, let's see where this started. Let me see if I can get a date here. If I can get a crosshair. Crosshair. Let's see here if I can get a crosshair. Find a date here. Each day. That's a daily. So let's go back. That's a 1, 2, 3 days back. Let's just go 10 days back. This is what I'm going to do. I want to see where that money's going. Okay, so we'll do this together real quick. I have these RRG charts that I have on Python scripts here. We're going to go into subsectors here. Yep. Let's just see where that money's flowing. Okay. Now I'll show you my script here. Right there. Boop. So I'm going to put in, let's go number of days. We'll do 10. I'm going to go into broad look first. Now we're going to get, it's going to fetch my API, Schwab, generate an RRG chart for us. Boop. There we go. Now let's see where money has been flowing in the last 10 days. So, look at that. Okay. So, let me move this over so you guys can see. Let me get you in a better screen here. Oh man, hold on a second here. You know what? I'm going to bring it over here. Might not be the best, but I'm going to bring it over here so we can really look at this together. There we go. Okay. So, now this is really blocking the rest of the market here, but here's been money the last 10 days. We have Bitcoin related stuff up 9.4%. That is the strongest. Okay. ITA, I believe it's defensive. XTN. XTN. But let's see where money just started to flow in, well, really in Bitcoin. Let's see, just recently food and beverage, insurance. Just want to see who's weakening. Airlines, transport and delivery, and Bitcoin in the last 10 days. Okay. Just want to see the momentum here because you're getting food and beverage late, some momentum here. Solar is getting real weak. Just want to see here. Bitcoin really, the names in Bitcoin here really getting some love. And transport. Trying to see software, biotech. I'm just looking at the percentages here. Yeah, it's really the miners, transports, ITA, I believe, is aerospace, defense. FDN, I believe, is internet. That's a gray. Let's see here. Gray. Oh, FDN, internet. Yep. So this is not really giving me what I thought it would give me. Okay. Now we'll go one step further here. And I am going to go to. What did it close my program? No, didn't. All right, let's go back here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just fire into the specific holdings. And we're going to go into that IBLC. Let's go. And it will give us a chart of these specific stocks that I track in that sector. Okay, so let's do that. And then we'll look at the transports as well, just to see where money's flowing in. Okay, so APLD in the last 10 days is up 22.6%. BTDR is up 22%. Cores up 17.1%. So this is the love that the market has been in. Now look, SPY is only up 4.3% in this time. So look at the money going into these names. Okay, a lot of strength. So the strongest is APLD. So the strongest would be all the way to the right. Okay. Now the momentum would be the highest momentum is the highest in the chart. So Mara, okay, Mara is the highest momentum as of late. Mara. Okay. So to show you that, let's really quickly put up this daily chart and we'll go to Mara. Let's see. It says it has the highest momentum lately. There it is. So Mara, remember this is like a 2-day momentum. So look at that bar. Boom. Look at this bullish engulfing bar. Boom. And I had a day with a little inverse hammer, but that day right there is showing you the momentum. Okay. Now, as far as the strongest is APLD. Now look, it's lost momentum, right? So that means in the last couple of days it probably had a red candle or something. Okay, so let's go look at that. So let's look at APLD, and this you should show some strength here, followed by some weakness here. Yep. So you got some strength, momentum, right, and then not so strong here, right? And then we're gonna finish up. Let's look at MicroStrategy. Just recently moved, improving. Coinbase went down, then went up. But like I said, it's really cool to look at this. All right. Now we're going to go one more time and back into this. And we're going to go back into the XTN because that was the other one, which is transports. Okay. Let's do 16. That's transports. Interesting here because this is like your FedEx, your UPS. Let's see who is moving markets here. And we'll just see. Oop, I didn't want to do that. Oop. All right. So let's see. SPY up 4.3%. So this is not like IBLC. ODFL is the strongest. Let's see. FedEx. So FedEx actually just got weakened. Okay. And Union Pacific, let's see here. This is a pretty big mover here. This LSTR, I don't have a clue what that is. Up 5.3, but look at this. It was weakening and the momentum literally just ripped it up. So let's just look at that and we'll end with that. I'm not seeing any canary in the coal mine with technology. I thought I would. We could do one more try in the sectors here, but give me 1 second here. It might even be semis. I think that's probably what it's going to be, but let's look at this LSTR real quick. Let's just see what this looks like. LSTR. Oh, look at that. Woo. That's some nice movement, LSTR. Whoever that is. Longstar looks Landstar. Whatever that is. Whoa. Transports. Did it have earnings? No. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's just end this. Because I think it's probably going to be semis. So I'm going to just do one more time. I'm going to go into the main RRG ones. Okay. And we'll do 10 days as well. Real quickly. So we'll go 10 days. Let's go into the broad sectors. This is the main sectors we look at every day in my stream. So let's see. This will show us just the latest. Okay, let's see. Semis. There it is. I mean, I should have probably went here before. So semis are up 9.2% in the last 10 days. So semis, right? So semis have getting love. Technology also. So that's just goes to what I was saying. I should have went here first. So semis up 9.2% compared to the SPY up 4.3. XLK up 7.3. Real estate, right? But so you can see it here. Whatever's the farthest to the right is going to be the strongest. When you'll see semis so farthest to the right, that means relative to the S&P 500, they are up 9.2%. Then followed by technology, right? So the farther to the right, the strongest. The higher up is the most momentum. Now look at energy. Energy's it's down. Interesting, right? In the last 10 days. But it's making a move. You see energy's making a move from lagging to improving. Okay? And so is staples. And this is in the last 10 days. Okay? Technology has taken a tumble and semis have taken a tumble. All right? Now, we're going to go one step further and we'll go into the semis. Okay? So we'll go into semis and see what's going on here. Dive into the specific holdings and we'll go into semis. And then we'll kill this here. Okay? I should have went here first. I apologize. I thought in the sub industry I would find the canary in the coal mine, but basically it's been semis. Okay. So, MU, Micron, has been up 17.4% in the last 10 days, followed by AMD, Lam Research, Applied Materials. So look at this. Qualcomm has been the weakest. Okay, ASML has just went too weak. See that? AMD, and then your strongest is Micron. So AMD, right here, you can see that momentum shift, and it's still up here. Micron lost some momentum, right? So let's just look at that. I'm going to kill this now. Let me kill the program, the little script I have. So let's just look at AMD real quick. Nice. So there's AMD into this big balance, and it broke out. Look at this, out of this big balance, and it came back in. Okay, and Micron, I think, took a big tumble yesterday. Not a big tumble, but that's been the strongest over the last 10 days. All right, now we're done with that. Let's go to daily charts. Actually, let's go to the market internals recap. Maybe that was a little longer than I wanted to do that RRG charts. Okay, let's go to the internals. I just wanted to give you guys some education of where the money was coming, and we did. Semis, right? Technology has been getting money flows, as we saw in the bullish percent index. Okay. Now yesterday was a whole lot of nothing. Look at the internals. There, that's nothing, folks. That's nothing. Went over to 84, went down to 75, and I'm going to zoom out to show you that that's not. Look at. I'm going to show you something. This is normally when I look at the WAD, I call it the weighted AD. Look at the bars. Look at the bars. Look at the bars. Look at yesterday. Horrible, and it was a very low volume day. Okay, so what did that mean for yesterday? It meant that all longs and shorts were tradable when you went to the value area low and value area high. I had a short right here, and I hit that right here. Took profits right here. It's actually short. Another community member was short with me. A couple were short with me in my room, and I hit my target. So that was pretty good. All right, moving on to daily charts now. All right, let's go to that SPY. This market does not know what it wants, what the market's doing in the hourly charts. Does not know. Yesterday, what did we do? Well, we closed over last week's highs. We hit the 20-day moving average. That's why I didn't think we were going to go on my chart. Look at the balance area I talked about previously. Okay, where are we now? 655.74. 655.74. We are right here. We're at the bottom third of yesterday's range. Futures. Futures. Okay, remember I said ultimate balance, right? 66.40s to 66.10s, right? We're right here. So in futures, we're like in the middle of yesterday's range. Okay? 20-day simple moving average, last week's highs. This market might not do much today again. Oh my God. This market might not do. I'm sorry about that. I didn't even have my chart up. That just tells me no one's watching. That just tells me no one's watching right now. No one told me that, but apologize for that. What you call it? So I'm on the dailies. So SPY, there it is. Hit the 20-day. Hit last week's highs. Let's go back to futures. Futures hit last week's highs in the 28. So moving average and inside this big balance, right? What I talked about yesterday. Let's go to the Qs. Qs hit the 20-day simple moving average as well. This purple, I'll just call it pink. That's last week's close. Okay, that's last week's close. Okay, so positive on the week, right? Where are we now? 584.25, 584.25. So we're gapping down a little bit in the Nasdaq. All right, futures. Okay, so in futures, we are in the middle of this session, but we're like actually gapping down from yesterday. Okay, so look at the consolidation. I said we're in ultimate balance now as well in the Nasdaq. So it's just you're in the most traded area when the market's indecisive. The deadline's tonight. It might be a range bound market again unless some kind of news comes out again. Okay, let's talk about the breadth. We already went up Rose Percent Index. This is the percentage of stocks over the 50-day moving average. Look at that breadth. It actually improved yesterday. 31% of stocks over the 50-day simple moving average. Okay, now if we're going to talk about hourly charts, there's not much to talk about. There's always a lot to talk about, but we're in a range, folks. Ugh, annoying. All right, let me get that marker up again. Okay. So yesterday I said this could be the range. It was. We're an ultimate balance. Okay. The most traded price of the month has moved to about 66.35. Most traded price of the week 66.10. Ultimate balance. Okay. Markets are going to go here when they're indecisive. So you can see we were up here. Then it looks like Trump came out with some kind of True Social post, brought us down. Then you broke this swing low, but now you swept it and you're back here. This market does not know what it wants to do. Crude is up. It's over $115 a barrel, but it's kind of decoupled from the market a little bit. I think the market is numb now to this high crude. Okay, so really, we're talking about overnight highs, right? And we're talking about the overnight lows. It's really what we're talking about here. I think this is probably the range for today, unless something comes out. Okay? I don't think that, so we're talking about from 667s down to the let's just call them 6600s. I think that's the trading range today. Now let me get this demand zone off because that has been broken. Okay. That's the trading range. Okay, so you just want to kind of probably be long down here and short up here unless something comes out. Move on to the Nasdaq. Same deal. Okay, broke this demand zone. but we swept this swing low. And we also hit the month-to-date anchor VWAP, which happens to be 24161s. Okay? So, what are we talking about in the NASDAQ? Well, we have yesterday's highs. That is your 24453s, right? Overnight highs, 24421s. Overnight lows, 24133s. So that is going to be probably the playground today. Now we are in ultimate balance as well in the NASDAQ. Okay. Most traded price of the month is 243. Happens to be yesterday's most traded price. So right here. Most traded price of the week. Might even move. But right now it currently sits at around 24150s. Okay. The markets are just in flux, folks. Okay. That's what they are. And look at the daily charts here of futures. Okay. Got an inverse head and shoulders. So right here, you got your inverse head and shoulders. So right here, your head, your shoulder, and your neckline. Okay, same in the NASDAQ. And look what we've been doing. Just balancing. Just balancing, waiting for something from this deadline to happen. Okay? So now we're going to go into your market profile, volume profile, get everybody out of here. If there's anybody even watching me right now, we'll just see here. All right, let's look at the market profile, volume profile, get the scenarios going here. It's always nice to look at the markets this way. Alrighty. So this is your market profile, volume profile. Let me just break the session out. You can see, now one thing I'll point out now that I'm seeing this, right? The overnight session in the ES engulfed yesterday's session, which happened to be a very low volume day. So the overnight session is already a bearish, I'd say to the downside, engulfing situation here. Okay. Now, something's moving the markets right now. Something's moving the markets. Let's see. Let's just check it in to see if there's some type of news here that just came out. Okay. Fed Williams speaking. The labor market is not pushing inflation higher. That's what he said. Okay. All right. Back to here. This market's nuts. You're at the worst place possible right now. Okay. Let's break out the session. Okay. Remember I said the playground is the overnight highs, 6667s to the 6600s. Let's just round it off. Okay, let's just round it off. So let's get into the ES long and short trade scenarios. Okay. I'm going to start off, okay, with the long scenario. Okay. So, what I want to see is a test down here from the 6610s. Maybe we have to go into this bullish fair value gap. Okay. That's around, let me give you the exact number here. Actually, that's a good thing. 6595s. That is the bullish fair value gap. And then we have a demand zone at 6589s. Okay. So, if we dip into there pretty quickly, like this, and push out push up very quickly, get a lower high, I'm going to go long. Now we're in a middleman imbalance area. So where would I target? I would target yesterday's highs, 666.1s, to the overnight highs, the 666.7s. I think that's a good bet. Okay? So anything in this area, I want to look long. Now, if the market's not that weak, I'm going to play the balance, which I think makes sense, right? We don't know if the deadline's true tonight, what's going to happen, unless something newsworthy comes out during the day. I don't think this market's ready to break out either way. All right, let's talk about the shorts. So for me to be short, okay, what do I want to do? I want to see the market push up to yesterday's highs, 666.1s and 666.7s, and see what the market does. If the market sweeps it, closes back inside, makes a lower high, I want to short there, targeting 66.17, yesterday's lows, and 66.02s, and see if we can fall down a little farther. That's it, folks. Okay, that's the long and short trade scenarios in the ES futures. All right, now let's get over to the Nasdaq. Pretty easy today. Pretty easy today. There's nothing complicated about this today. Nothing complicated. That's what you want to do with trading. You want to make it as least complicated as you can, and just wait. Just wait for your things to trigger. Where you want to be active. That's all it is. Okay? So let's get into the long and short trade scenarios for your Nasdaq. The Nasdaq futures. Okay? So start off with the long. Pretty easy today. All right. So we are not gapping down anymore. We held the month-to-date anchor view up. We held the 24150 is the most traded price of the week. Okay. Now, what do I want to see if I want to get long? I want to see that overnight low taken out, 24133s. Okay, and then what do we have? In this 241 area, we have a demand and a bullish FVG, a bullish fair value gap. Any move down quickly, and the market's not weak, I want to see a bounce. I want to see a higher low, and then I want to get long. And what I want to do, you're going to have probably a little problems here at the 243. But if you take that out, you're probably going to go up and hit the overnight highs, 24421s. Then go for yesterday's highs, 24453s. That's it, folks. Okay? Shorts. Just the opposite. Now, the shorts, I have two plays in the Nasdaq that I can look at. Okay? So, if the market pushes up pretty quickly and hits the 243s and gets stopped, reject it, retest the 243, short that, target overnight lows 24133s, and see if you can get any more going to the downside. That's a major level, right? However, if the market even rips through the 243s, pulls back, now I want to see what it does with the overnight highs and yesterday's highs. If it rejects pretty hard here, goes back inside, lower high, short that, target overnight lows 24133s, and see if you can get a move to the downside even farther. Okay? That's it, folks. That's my long and short trade scenarios, all right? So, smash the like button if you enjoyed that content. Now, one thing on the markets today. I believe we're going to be in balance unless a news catalyst. The deadline is at 8 p.m. tentatively tonight. That does not affect our market today. Now, I'm sure there'll be news come out in the middle of the day, but the market right now is telling us we're in ultimate balance in the Nasdaq and the ES futures. So when you're in ultimate balance, expect two-sided trading. No one's really wanting to hold a position because they think we're breaking out or we're going to break down, because there's probably something going to come out tonight about that. All right? So I just want to make sure everyone's clear. We're clear on that. We should be in balance. Now, another tip. Whenever you are in balance, like what I'm saying, it always looks like the market's either going to break lower or it's going to break higher when you're in balance. It makes it look like it's going to break out, but then it doesn't. It fails, and then it goes back to the other side of balance. So just keep that in mind today. Okay? Now, hopefully, everybody joins me every morning. Subscribe, set that alert. Okay? Give you the market story, the market news, the economic calendar, leaders and the laggards, technical analysis, and I just gave you the long and short trade scenarios in the ES and the Nasdaq futures. Now, you want to have more in-depth coverage with myself, you are going to join my Discord, Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay? Now, I hope everybody has a great day trading. I hope you join me on my Discord. All right? Usually go live around 9:50 a.m. Hopefully come join me. Come ask me some questions. See what I say about the markets. Okay, now, hope everybody has a great day. Remember, no trade's a trade. Hope everybody has a green day. Remember, like I said, cash is a position. And if I don't see you in my Discord, I'll see everybody tomorrow morning. Take it easy.